everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We are part of the Cozy and Sweet Blissful Reading Facebook group. I'm Mindy Killgrove, and it is my pleasure to be here this evening with our moderator, Jen Cammann, Kaci Lane, and Ashli Montgomery. The thing that brings us all together and makes us so excited about this evening is that we're not just authors, but we are authors who write sports stories. And so tonight we're going to be talking about our favorite sports. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite tropes. If you're joining us, please feel free to pop in, say hello, comment, let us know what you're thinking, ask us your questions. And if you're catching us afterwards, you can still write any comments you like, and we will be happy to respond to them later. But I'm going to go ahead and kick it off by officially introducing myself and telling you where I'm from. Mindy Killgrove, and I'm in Orlando. So if you notice that I'm glowing, it's because I'm sweating like a pig here. We're still at 90 degrees, and I thought it was going to be a pinch cooler today, but it is still blazing. So if I really start sweating throughout, I'm totally fine. Just enjoying the heat. Kaci, let's pitch it to you.
Yes, it's currently 89 in Alabama, so I'm right there with you. Yeah. Tonight I'll be talking a little bit about my baseball book, and I do want to write a football sometime, maybe Ashley, or I'll talk more about that in a minute. But I gotta show everybody my shirt. It's not showing. This is my favorite ball field shirt. Can you
Yeah.
read it? Yeah. But
Yeah.
my son does baseball, but he's currently on his way home from football right now. I've got a daughter at cheer. So my husband and I did stuff like that growing up. So it's fun seeing I don't have a coach other than Little League coach's wife, but it is fun the perspective of the parent and then the kid. So that's what I try to bring into my sports books. And I'm in Tuscaloosa County, Alabama. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Ashli, how about you?
So I don't have any sympathy on your heat. I am a Texas girl born and raised, now living in the mountains of Virginia, and it was 45 this morning when I walked the dog. So I'm already like bundled up in a coat, but I will say it was absolutely perfect in the high 70s this afternoon. So, but I do miss the heat quite a bit. I am also known as author Virginia Dele Smith, and I live sports, and so it only makes sense to put them in my books. I was a cheerleader growing up and married a football player, and he became a football coach, and I became a coach's wife. And then we had two children, one who played football all the way through college for my husband, and a daughter who cheered all the way through college, also at my husband's school. So I was the crazy woman in the stands watching the coach, the player, and the cheerleader on a Saturday. So it's been a fun ride, but I had to put sports in my books because it's the only life I know.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us this evening. Jen, I'd like for you to take just a few minutes to introduce yourself and then kick us off with your first question.
Absolutely. I'm so happy to be here tonight, everybody. My name is Jen Cammann, and I'm moderating this discussion, coming to you from also very hot and sunny South Carolina. Ashli, I'm very jealous about your 45-degree morning. I could use like a day of that just to get a little break. I'm sure we all feel the same. But a little break from the heat would be much welcomed right now. And I'll go ahead and get us started. So, Ashli, you kind of already touched on this about why you ladies write in the genre of the sports romances. So that is the first question. Why this genre? Ashli, if you wanted to add anything else onto that about yourself, feel free. But Kaci, I wanted to start with you. Why this genre?
One, I just thought of this when Ashley was telling her. I think it has a bit of nostalgia for me because I was a cheerleader and my husband was a baseball player when we met, and we couldn't go on a date for like 2 months because someone had a game every, and it was kind of cute. And just that little dynamic. And now, like I said, now I'm living it through my kids. They're about to be 13 and about to be 10. And it's just funny, like some of the time, both coached them at different times, and now we're both kind of like, ugh, in different things. And I like the perspective of in my baseball book I have, it's a mom who's having to coach her little son's little league. And the dad, it's like a second chance secret baby. he is playing for the Atlanta Braves, and he's the dad, didn't know it because it was like they were in college, but then broke up, and she didn't want to ruin the career, so it's kind of that dynamic. You get we're big Braves at my house too, but you get like that professional side, and then you get the little league, and that's the fun to me. A lot of my books, if anyone's out there has read them, I do a lot of fish out of water. I do a lot of like opposites because that's just always brings comedy to me. So, and what better thing to hype up, tension than sports? I mean, really, all the characters can bring in. So,
Nice. Mindy, how about you?
I decided to write a sports trilogy because I'm one of those people that thinks we're better off when we write what we know.
mhm.
And for anybody who knows me, like Jen, I played softball my entire life through high school, through college, and then I coached for a few years before I had my children. So I used to live and breathe softball, and it was so much fun for me to bring to life a character who had those same struggles that I had because I definitely took softball very seriously, and I really liked bringing that to Kate Kellner and kind of having her deal with some of the same scenarios that happened when I was on the mound. So it was a really good chance, like you said, nostalgia, right? These are things we lived through, and I enjoyed doing that.
Nice. And Ashli, same thing. I'm sensing that maybe nostalgia could be a theme right now. Yeah, I know that you mentioned your whole history with sports and your family's history. Is there anything else you wanted to add about why you write in this genre?
Well, I mentioned that I grew up in Texas and I grew up in a very small town, and community really revolves around church and sport. And I created a small town, a fictional small town in Oklahoma to use in my book world. And I just can't imagine a small community that really supports one another and is all about encouragement, not rallying around sports. And then my characters are actually professional athletes, but it's a fun way to bring some celebrity into the community. And ironically enough, in my baseball book, my baseball player also plays for Atlanta, but it was because we're actually Houston Astros fans, but. I needed him to be driving across the country and go through my small town, so I had to like pick places that would cause him to drive that direction. So I just believe that having sports in your home, it just brings another level of closeness within your family. It teaches our kids some really important life lessons. And even if they do nothing beyond t-ball at the YMCA or swimming lessons during the summer, there's just something about that physical activity that teaches it teaches about themselves and about their community and about empathy and about trying and about disappointment. And I think there are a lot of really good life lessons in there. So I love sharing sports. And yeah. So I mentioned my cheerleader, and it looks like she just hopped on our Zoom. So she will know firsthand what our sports life is like.
Very fun. Welcome to Macy, who's joining us. So obviously this month is all about sports. So in the books you write, how much background knowledge of your sport does your reader need to know? Minnie, I'm going to start with you.
For mine, I don't feel like people need to have a whole lot of background knowledge, but there definitely are full chapters where I take the reader into the game or into the practice. So while they don't need to bring any knowledge to the game, I feel like maybe they need to enjoy sports or athletics, or in particular softball or baseball, because it just helps enhance the experience.
All right, Casey, how about you?
I'm going to answer this the way I answer. All my books are set in the South in a fictitious Alabama town, small town, like you made it. So I always say people are like, "Will I get it if I'm not Southern? I need to know." And I'm like, "No, it's kind of self-explanatory. It's kind of like it's self-explanatory. You don't have to know all about it. It'll still be funny. But if you're kind of in on it and you've got a deeper knowledge, the jokes are way funnier. It's way more relatable. So it just adds another layer if you do have that knowledge. So
I see. And Ashley, how about you?
don't think you have to know sports. Can y'all hear my dog barking? I'm sorry. I think there are people out walking and she's going crazy. I don't think you have to know sports to enjoy the relationships and the sports scenes in my books. If you do, especially like in my baseball book, there's a really neat scene where they're playing at like a pickup game, and there's actually a really profound baseball scene in one of my other books. It's just about Little League. It's not really a sports romance, but I think as a Little League mom, if you were reading that scene, it would definitely like pull on your heartstrings a little bit, remembering those times or having lived that. But I think it might also, if you didn't live those sports moments in your own life, I think it would give you a really good glimpse into what it feels like to be in that position.
Okay, nice. So thinking about, I guess for Kaci and Ashli, pick, the main character of your choice from your sports books. Mindy, yours is, Kate Kellner. So thinking about your main sports character or main sports character, what's that main character like? Are they very serious, very dedicated? Are they in it for the love of the game? Can you give us a little bit of information about that main character for you? Kaci, I'm going to have you start.
Okay. So my male main character, he's more of the, like I would say, the serious, the driven, he's made it all the way to the pros. He's just all about, that. And she is very much, I joke that all my characters have at least a little bit of me in them. I guess that just comes out through writers. But I've always struggled with being like a people pleaser and just try to go with it. And I feel like that's more of Brooke. And that's part of the reason, like, she's raising this boy on her own and decided to not mess with his career and this and that. And that's part of the fun is she gets thrown into the chaos of having to coach Little League. Is she's more of your, like, just go with it and make everybody happy and just roll with it. And he's more of your professional, let's get this done. Again, the opposites. So, yeah.
All right. Ashli, how about you?
So my baseball romance, he is the fun-loving sunshine, and the female main character is the grumpy one. And so you've got that opposites attract. He worked his way up through the minors. He only wears minor league baseball t-shirts. And if you've ever been familiar with the minor leagues, their mascots and their team names are a little silly and very funny. And so she teases him a lot that, he's such a little kid. And then when she realizes that he's actually a professional baseball player late in the book, he's taken aback a little bit, but his character was really fun. He has this idea that I've worked really hard to get where I am, and therefore I'm going to enjoy every second of my life. And so he is much more fun loving. My football book, my main character, I accidentally I'll tell you how it came about. So, when I decided to write the first book, the big brother was going to be a professional football player. So, at that time, I had to make a decision, where does he play football? And my little town is probably between Kansas City and Dallas. But growing up in North Central Texas, the Dallas Cowboys are a big thing to put in a book. That's just taking on a whole monster I didn't want to. So, I decided that Max would play for the Kansas City Chiefs. So then when it came time for his own book, I wanted my husband to help me name it because, like I said, he's a college football coach. So he came up with the title In the Trenches, as in love is a battlefield, you go to war for love, and in the trenches, that's the fight between the offensive line and the defensive line at the line of scrimmage in football. So that's kind of implying that we're working with linemen. Well, linemen don't get to razzle dazzle very much. They're like the most important humans on the field, but they're probably not the sexiest people on the field. And they're sexy in their own way. But I needed my player to be a bit of a celebrity. So I decided to make him a tight end where he could be a lineman in the trenches, since that's what we named the book. But he could also razzle dazzle. He could score touchdowns. He could be the big celebrity in the local news. So then I was writing a scene one day and I needed a football number. And so I texted my son and said, hey, I need a good number for a tight end. And he said, well, probably 87 is the most popular tight end number. Not knowing that I had put my tight end at the Kansas City Chiefs, that he's this great family man, all of these things. And then after the book came out, one of my very good friends called me and she's like, Ashli, did you mean to make Max Travis Kelce? And I said, "Excuse me, what?" And this was way back in 2021 when I was writing it, and so Travis and Taylor weren't a thing yet, but yeah. So my main character in book two is basically Travis Kelce on accident.
That's amazing. As a closet Swiftie over here, I just love that that accidentally happened. I love everything about that. That's great. Mindy, tell us about Kate.
She, as I said before, she's super serious. I actually mentioned in the book that she is the girl who wears the softball is life shirt all the time because that's really what it is all about for her. And I brought along my copy of Kate to this evening. It's hard to see her face, but I was going for really intense on the cover and because that's who she is. She is a workhorse for her team, the kind of kid who throws all the time. And definitely in the book that I try not to feature it as a flaw. It's actually something that's great about her because she leads her team, but she also brings that sort of passion to the rest of her life as well. So when she's caught up in a love triangle, things get very interesting because she takes everything so seriously.
Nice. So let's talk about target audiences now, because as a reader, I would assume that you have a specific audience in mind, but I could be wrong with that. So, Kaci, I'm going to start with you. Who is, like, when you write your sports romances, who are you writing for, would you say?
Um, People like me, but because I've already thought that the next one I do want to get to doing a football, but I've had so many people because they know my cheer background and my daughter's big into cheer. They're like, please write a cheer dad book. So I really think that would be fun. But mine are just like I said, the parents, anybody that's either I guess my main demographic is, which I have teenagers read my books because they're all clean, but I have a lot of people like that about college age and up that read my books because I got a lot of like new adult and, just clean romantic comedy. So anybody really in that age, like I said, if you've either played, little league or you've that sport or you're a parent to it now, I think if you've done both, like a lot of us have said, that just, like I said, that just layers on the relationship in the book and it's more funny. But so mainly anyone that really likes sports and wants a good laugh, I think they would enjoy it. So.
Right. Mindy, how about you?
For mine, the target audience is young adult, new adult. But like Casey said, anybody can pick it up and enjoy it because it is a sweet, clean romance that's what I kind of feel about the clean romances that they end up being a little more timeless and anybody can read it. You can share it with your grandma or you can share it with your teenager or just about anyone.
All right. And Ashli.
I would second that. I feel like our genre of clean, and I say mine's clean and wholesome. I definitely have faith elements in all of my books. And I think that that message is timeless. And so I know that my mom loves my books, which she has to. But I do know when I look at my demographics of my readers that I have a subset of older readers that I think really enjoy the lightheartedness, and I think they enjoy I'm going to say the joy that comes from the end of the book, and just the way that I try to bring all my characters to a point where they get to choose the courage to embrace true love. I will say that I think my sports romances speak to the lower end of my demographic. So definitely high school kids have told me that they've enjoyed them, college kids, new adult. And I like that because I want to try and appeal to that full age bracket. I don't want I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, this book wasn't written for me. I want everyone to be able to enjoy it. I do know that I have a few men in my audience that say that they've really enjoyed them, but by and large, I would say that my target audience is women and probably a lot of people who are strong in faith, Christian readers, and I also include elements of quilts and quilters and quilting in all of my books. As a quilter, I really like sharing that form of art in my stories. So I have a lot of quilt fiction readers as well.
Nice. And I'm just now noticing the quilt behind you on your shelves. I don't know if I didn't notice that. Yeah, right there. If I
Yeah.
didn't notice that last time or if I was just distracted. But yes, I'm making the connection. There's another quilt. It's
Yes.
almost like an Easter egg for you.
I know,
I love
right?
it. So, my next question is anyone planning to write more sports romances? Or you can even answer, maybe you're not, but if you were Kaci, like you were saying, if you would write another sports romance, what might it be? So, Mindy, how about you?
Well, I think it's so funny that Casey just said she was thinking about writing a cheer one because I've got this cheer story going on in my head. I think it's going to be about competition cheer though, and I really wanted to set it around the holidays and call it holiday cheer. So we'll see if that happens, but I thought it would be cute and fun.
That sounds super fun. Almost like maybe a cheer competition, holiday competition, kind of like merge. I'm feeling that kind
Yes.
of vibe, maybe.
Yes.
Nice. All right, Kaci, tell us more about this cheer dad idea.
So basically, I'm bad about, some people are like, oh, I get writer's block. I get time block. I don't get writer's block because I'm always juggling around my kids' stuff and my husband owns a business. So I have all these books in my head and I'm like, so I'm definitely going to do a cheer dad. I just haven't decided. It may be this is in a series that's not all sports. It's all about single moms, single Southern mamas. So I think I'm going to do the same with cheer dad. This is the first time I've announced it, but I really want to write firefighters because I've been sprinkling new fire station into my little community and that sort of, I feel like that would be an easy way to like a camaraderie and do a series on that. So that'll come one day, I hope. But I thought about having a dad like that maybe needs help with his daughter and he's overwhelmed raising a teenage girl, kind of like you said, with the competition and this and that. So definitely cheer dad is in my brain percolating. But I do love football. And my husband played football and my son plays football now. So I may and that's just perfect for small town. So I'm not ruling out football or even another, but cheer dad it's definitely in somewhere down the road. So
Nice. I like that. That's a good idea. Ashley, how about you?
Well, I can tell you both that y'all's ideas just get my head spinning. Having been a cheer mom for 17 years, there are so many stories that I'm like, oh, and you could do this, and you could set it here, and you could have this be this is the cheer team is at the Rose Bowl parade, and blah blah blah. It's like I'm just thinking a million things, and I'm thinking of all the things that my daughter had. Hi, Macy. Sweetheart, the things that she would go and ask her daddy to help her with between cheer and sorority and all the special times that they had together, that there were things that I could be cheer mom all the time, but sometimes you just need cheer dad. So I think those are both really great stories. I've already introduced a couple of characters as side characters in my other books that I know I've got outlined to have their own story. One of them is the high school head football coach in my little town. And then one of them is the quarterback that is at the time he will be the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, or he'll be the old quarterback that has now moved into the backup role and what that feels like and undergoing an injury when he's really late in his career and he's going to come to Green Hills and recuperate. And so I already have that story outlined. I also have a ballerina story outlined, and it's one of my characters that is in Green Hills, and she's actually gone to the city to be a ballerina, and her love interest has to come after her. And so I would also love to do something with pickleball. I would love to do something with gymnastics. I was a gymnast in my younger years, and my daughter was, and I just have so much respect for that sport and the challenges that it gives you when you're looking at personal relationships. And then my brother is a very, very talented golfer. And so I've been around the golf world quite a bit. He's 10 years younger than I am, so I was almost like a bonus mom, and I spent a lot of time taking him to golf tournaments in my life. And so I have no problem coming up with the story arcs and the outlines. I just can't find the time to get them all on paper.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no shortage of good ideas happening right here. Y'all are full of good ideas. I'm sure it's time is the issue.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and do the last two questions kind of quickly because these are definitely still sports related, but kind of just like for fun personality questions. So favorite sports movie, Mindy, go.
A League of Their Own. Gotta be. I actually posted this in our group today, so thank you to everyone who's already replied. And I know a lot of you agree with me that you just can't beat Tom Hanks and Madonna and Gina Davis doing their women's baseball thing.
Yeah, and so quotable. That's
Yes.
top notch right there. All right, Casey, favorite sports movie.
Gosh, there's a ton. I'm gonna have to tie Sandlot for nostalgia, and my kids still watch it, and Moneyball. I love the writing, like the storyline of Moneyball. And when I found out it was based on a book, of course, I had to read that. I mean, that's just so cool. I'm a sucker for a true story. But I mean, I can go on all football, Remember the Titans, like you said, A League of Your Own, like pretty much any. I mean, I've seen some cute soccer movies. Just it's sports movies tend to be kind of like our clean romance. Like a lot of them are made for the family, and I really like that. And like I said, when my kids, my daughter does gymnastics too, but like she's watched some little movie on Netflix recently about gymnastics and liked it. But it's just those are sports, like you said, they're good to bring the family together. So I mean, I could go on for days about all the movies I like, but I'll go with those two.
Nice, good picks. All right, how about you, Ashley?
Oh my goodness, this is so tough. I mean, we have watched so many sports movies. I think I have to list one of them is Mickey, which is a baseball movie, and I mention it in one of my books, and it's one that our family has watched, and we all know every single line of. I think that my son would be upset if I didn't list Remember the Titans because we know every line of that one. I think personally, one of my very favorites is of Bagger Vance. And Boys in the Boat, the movie is very, very good. The book is life-changing. Like if there are only 5 books that you can read in the rest of your life, Boys in the Boat is one that you should read. And then I think for my husband, I would have to say For Love of the Game because that's just all time. I mean, The Natural, it goes on and on. And then talking about the cheer movies. My daughter and I have watched every cheer movie and every step dance movie that there is, and we are big, big junkies over that. So I'm kind of with Casey on this. You can't go wrong with any of the sports movies.
Right, there's so many good ones. It's so hard to choose. Okay,
Jen, what's
last
your favorite
question.
before we go on? Before we go on, what's your
Oh,
favorite?
okay. So this is an oldie, and Mindy, you're gonna remember this. Love and Basketball. That
Mm.
one was so good. That was like college era when that came out. Just a good story, good message. Perseverance was big there. So yeah, that's got to be one of my top ones off the top of my head.
I'm
Okay.
gonna I'm gonna
Macy, do
date
you have a
myself.
favorite?
Oh, I was gonna say I'm
Yes.
gonna date myself and see, does anyone else know what The Cutting Edge is? The original.
Oh yes.
The
Yes.
ice
Oh yeah.
skating, yeah, yes.
So good. There's so many. Mindy, we could do a whole Zoom on just sports movies, just nothing else but sports movies.
Yeah.
Maybe for
Macy,
the
did you
future.
want to tell us your favorite? Does she want to pop on and tell us her favorite? There you
Oh,
go.
yes.
I think my mom hit most of them, to be honest with you.
Do you like Bring It On since you?
I do have all of the Bring It Ons
Yeah,
memorized.
the original came out when I was actually cheering, and I made my boyfriend at the time go to the theater with me to watch it. And now my daughter likes it, so yeah,
I have made a couple boyfriends sit down and watch them. So
good for you. Yeah.
they're all forced to at one point or another.
Good girl. Okay, let's make a get hype playlist before we go. Think about your favorite pump up songs when you need to just get your adrenaline going and get ready. Mindy, what is it going to be?
For me, when I was in school and I was pitching, it was always Machine Head by Bush, so fronted by Gavin Rossdale. It's a breathe in, breathe out, but it's hard and it's just pounding rock. And so that's where I really still kind of find my groove is when we're just harder rock, a Breaking Benjamin, that kind of thing. That's what I like.
Nice. Okay, Kaci, how about you?
I've got a whole playlist because I actually, when I'm writing something, now I'm listening to Christmas music because I'm writing a Christmas book. My husband came and was like, "What?" So I have a whole playlist, and they've doubled before as walk-up songs for the kids. But it's funny that Inner Sandman is one, Thunder. My husband's all-time go-to is Eye of the Tiger. His mascot in high school was the Tiger. So all of you Auburn will probably like that too. But so those are three top ones that come up a lot. So yeah.
Okay, Ashli?
I think for me personally, Lose Yourself by Eminem is probably at the top of my list. And Black Eyed Peas, Let's Get It Started is a really good one. And then I don't know what the actual name of it is, and I'm certainly not going to sing it for you, but when my son was playing high school baseball, one of his buddies, his walk-up song was like one of the old 50s like silly songs. And now every time I hear it, it like is a pump up song because we heard it every time that Brett went up to bat. So yeah, that was those are some fun ones. But I too love music while I'm writing. I even make a playlist to accompany every book, and I print it in the back of the book and save it on Spotify. And so I could go back and look and just whenever it's just like reading a book or watching the movie, like you hear the song and it reminds you of that moment. And those are all really special and again, nostalgic moments that we associate with sports.
Nice. Macy, as the current athlete in the room, do you have a song that gets you pumped up?
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say I am not an athlete anymore. I've been out of college sports for 2.5 years, but I appreciate the sentiment. I would like to still be an athlete some days. Um,
She's a yoga instructor, so she's still an athlete, but her songs may be less pump up and more calm down now.
when I was cheering though on game days, see, we always played Thunderstruck because we were the Golden Hurricane, and so I listened to that all the time. During basketball season, I think the name of the song is Black Betty, but I can't remember what the actual name of it is. And then I do love old rock, so anything from Poison to AC/DC, Motley Crue, Zed Lep, and any of that I will also listen to, and I still listen to when I'm working out a lot. So I kind of confuse people a lot, especially with my yoga playlist, because I do have a rock yoga playlist.
I think that's the best way to be, though. Just a little bit of everything, and it's always like a surprise. You never know what's going to pop up next on your playlist. That's awesome. Well, Mindy, I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to you so we can wrap up.
Before we wrap up, Jen, we have to know what's on your Get Hyped playlist.
Okay. So I'm not much of an athlete. So is it weird if I say Whitney Houston?
No? I thought you were going to say Britney Spears, so it's all good.
Always Britney Spears, but also, yes, like I guess any pop diva just gets me hyped up. So I think about like, I don't know, any powerful Whitney Houston song, I just feel like does it for me, even though that is so not your typical hype song or hype artist at all. That's my answer.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for joining me this evening, to Kaci and Ashli and Macy and Jen. It has been a pleasure to talk sports and writing and reading with you. To anybody who is watching us, please feel free again to pop in here and leave us some comments. In a couple of days, I will have this very same last question appear in our Facebook group. So if you're holding on to your own Get Hyped list and you're like, oh, I'd really love to share, please let us know what you listen to when you're working out or when you're hanging out, and it just pumps you up a little bit. But until next time, and actually next time, Kaci, I'm so glad you're here. You want to hold up Mom Ball again so everybody can see? On Thursday, September 25th, once again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be discussing Mom Ball. That is our Book of the Month choice, and we're so excited to read this and get to talk to the author about her work. So
And the
I hope
ebook
everybody.
is free right now. So yeah.
Oh, good. Is it still free then?
Yes, I'm keeping it free all month so they can get it. Yeah.
That's so nice of you. We really do appreciate that. So to everybody who's joined us, we appreciate your time and we look forward to